All right, well, welcome, Sexy Wookiees, to another episode of the Sexy Wookiee Squadcast. We're continue reading Star Wars Queen's Peril by E.K. Johnston. This week we're doing chapters 6 through 10. It's your boy, Sexy Leader.
Hey, Sexy One here.
Sexy 2. Let's get to it.
Let's go.
So on page 65, there was a quote that Padme said that I really liked when she said, "But it's also a collaboration. I want to make us into something stronger. For your handmaidens, what skills would you want the others to have that either you don't or would complement the ones you do have?"
You mean I get to pretend I'm queen for a second?
Yep. So Megan is queen. You have your skill set. What other skills would you want that either you don't have or that would just complement yours? So you can do something strong.
Let's see. I really just want people to do all my cleaning because I hate.
That's not a skill set for a
That is a skill set. Oh, cooking. I can't cook. I'm a terrible cook. One time I tried to make tea and I burnt the water. Sometimes it takes me 2 or 3 tries to make Pop-Tarts or popcorn in the microwave. So yeah, I definitely need a cooking handmaiden.
But you're queen. You're gonna have cooks already. These are your bodyguards.
My bodyguards. I don't even need bodyguards. I'm fine. I take care of myself. No, okay. Well, that's what handmaidens are for. They're supposed to like tighten your corset and do your hair.
What book are you reading that I'm not?
Bodyguards, that's what my security is for. I don't know. I wouldn't need I just need handmaidens to do chores for me. Like, we're fine.
Okay.
And
you know what? Oh wait. I know what I
God.
need. I need a double that dances better than I do for like balls and high functions like that. Because I love dancing. I'm just not great at it. And that would be a little embarrassing. So I would need a body double to dance for me,
I think half this episode is just gonna be me hiding my face because I'm laughing so much.
That's gonna be the screenshot right there. Just
baseball. Okay,
sorry. Carry on, Randall.
I don't know about any of the, everybody seems a lot well-rounded, but if I were to choose one, I think where's the happy person in the group?
Isn't that you?
No, there's more like I'm looking for the optimistic one. There you go. That's the word.
You're the optimistic one. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Was that? Wait, reread the question again.
Y'all, we're talking about skills here.
Skills.
Question one more time.
Okay, so Padme said, but it's also a collaboration. I want to make us into something stronger. So you know how there's an engineer, there's a person who's good at lying, all these different skills.
Yeah.
So for your handmaidens, what skills would you want the others to have that either you don't or would complement yours?
Oh, okay. Ones that would complement mine. Who was the communications one?
Oh, geez.
Eri. I think it was Eri, right? Eri Tama.
I thought she was the engineer.
So she was an engineer, but she took on the role of communications as well.
Okay. Yeah. So, let's see. Like, I'm not great with communications, so I think that with for her to put her engineering style with this new role she's planning to take on, I think that is like a great not even a skill, but that's like a great combo in being dangerous is one of the handmaidens, but that's something that's what makes her well-rounded in all of the tech, or being the tech person. And I'm just going to relate it to Relics. He's supposed to be the tech guy, but same as for me, I like working on tech. I like fiddling with a lot of tech, and that's something I would like to bring to, if I were in Queen Amidala's royal handmaiden
So if
group.
you were king and or queen, whatever, and you needed your handmaidens, you'd want more tech people?
Yeah, because like, I mean, especially in a world like ours today, like you need tech to really vamp up. It's a skill everybody really needs to vamp up. I mean,
Mhm.
you can say computers and technology is either driving the world today, but it could be taking over the world tomorrow. You never know.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah. So for me, I would want multiple handmaidens, just like Padme, so that we can all have different skills. Like Ronald said, I would need a tech person because I'm terrible at technology. I was born in the wrong era. I'm terrible with it. So I need someone to do that since I don't have that skill. I have the skill of language, so that's good. I can pick up on languages pretty quickly, so probably a PR person to help complement that a little bit so that we can work on, talking to people of the other planets or
I mean, you could get a protocol droid for that.
yeah,
Yes.
but come on, handmaiden, fun. That'd be more fun.
You could
So
dress up a protocol droid in like cute handmaiden dresses.
I don't think they'd like that.
They don't get a choice in it.
So someone in tech and then someone in communications. It'd be cool to have someone who does like martial arts, who's super strong like that, so she could teach the rest of us, and then we'll do what these handmaidens do. We'll just teach each other our skills and whatnot. So it'd be nice to have people who just do all the different things to come together, just like Padme.
It is a good model.
Ready for next?
No, I'd like to go actually back on that. Like, I liked how everybody was well-rounded, or open enough to be well-rounded. But while I was reading all of this, like, this is why I was really excited, because this portrayed more of like we see Padme when she's a senator in in the Clone Wars. Like, she's very skilled, and so I was just like, where are times that we have seen this in episode 1? We really didn't. But when when I saw this in the the Clone Wars, I said, oh, this is why she knows how to do these certain traits. And it was probably learned through, and then from when she first met these royal handmaidens.
Yeah.
Also, have you guys seen this like latest arc in the Darth Vader comics with where he goes to, I think he goes to Naboo and finds Padme's grave, and they get attacked, and it's Sabe, and he thinks that like he's like freaked out at first because it looks like Padme, and then they team up and they do this whole like, I was like, oh, Sabe.
So those girls, they love Padme so much that even after her death, like they would, even though they have their own lives, they would still go and guard her grave and everything.
Right. Yeah, so it's interesting, now getting to read them when it all started.
Yeah. Oh, these girls. Well, speaking of the girls again, if you could pick any of the 5 girls to work with you or be on your team, who would you pick and why? But you can only pick one. And I do have their names and the skills that they picked.
Oh, thank you. Do you want to run down that real fast, just in case my first instinct is not right?
Disclaimer, I have not heard the audiobook. I don't know how they're pronounced. I'm making this up as I go, just based on how it's written.
I'll try not to snicker.
If you do give me a warning so that I could just
cover your face in shame.
Cover my face in shame as I laugh at myself. Okay, so Rabe, she's the wardrobe mistress, but she's also the intelligence officer. Yane, liaison. I called her a wallflower because she's the one who gets to listen in. People are just kind of like, who are you? I don't see you, but she's cool. She's cool. Okay, this one I don't know how to pronounce. Airtama. What does she change her name to?
Yarte.
Yurte.
Yeah.
Yurte. Okay. So communications and tech. Sache, she said she's the page, which means she's also another wallflower. She gets to kind of blend in, listen in. And then Sabe, the assistant.
Yeah, so my first instinct was Rabe, and I think I stick with that. Yeah, this goes back to, I guess, needing handmaidens, your first question. I have terrible style. I like to be comfortable, and that makes me look very frumpy often, and it makes people mad. They're like, don't, just try. Could you just try, please? So it would be nice to have a wardrobe person, to like a personal stylist maybe. And then intelligence, yeah, sure. Give me all the dirt. Like, get out there, you find the gossip and bring it back. Yes. I'd pick Rabe.
Nice. I think I was really into Sabe. Now that you mentioned she's the assistant, there's something that I read why I more cling to her, because as far as leadership roles go, like whenever I was in any type of leadership position, I always said that anybody who's in a leadership role, like, so think of a leadership group, you always have to be able to back up the highest level of the highest level position that's there. In this case, it's Queen Amidala, the queen. And so I think there was something in the book that had said that she was going to cover, she would be able to cover any of the other girls, the handmaidens, as well as the queen. And so I was like, wow, like that talks like me, because I've always said that, like, you should be able to cover let's say your queen wasn't there, you should be able to take the queen role. And then if any of your other handmaidens couldn't do their own roles of what you had just mentioned, then that person should be able to cover it. And like, I'm excited to see what Sabe will be able to cover, had not one of the royal handmaidens are able to, whether they're not able to perform or, they're just, they're not able.
Yeah, she does seem the most versatile.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good thing.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why I also picked Sabe. She's my favorite. I love them all to death. But I think Sabe, just because it always stuck out with me that Panaka was like, oh, you're always in someone's shadow, you're always second best. But she has all the skill sets to not be in the shadows. So I was like, I feel like we could kind of complement each other on that, because we both have skill sets. I feel like I'm kind of versatile. I'm not the best at some things, but I can still try and do okay. And so I feel like we could really bring out the best in each other.
Mm-hmm.
And the not good parts that we have, we can help each other work on it. And I just feel like her and I would just click so well. I already added her to my list of fictional people I'm dating, so
she made the list.
She made my list. It's a very long list, but she made it. She's like up there. I'm like, yes, Sabe.
Yeah, she seems capable.
She seems like a total ride or die person, and I was like,
yeah,
yes,
super loyal.
Well, that's the thing got to me, because she's day one. Like, remember, as I said last
first
week,
choice.
Last week, she, when they had their little one-on-one before any of the other handmaidens had shown up, like, that's what I was talking about, how two people who started, down the line, they can both say to each other, is like, we know more than the other girls, or just because that bond started way ahead, or yeah, you can just tell that person, like, we know more, and yeah, stick by that. But she's also not also looking for the spotlight. I think she's okay where she wants to be, and I think that's why she does a great job of where she's at.
Nice. All right. So this one's going to be fun. Don't think too hard on it, Megan.
I'll try really hard not to think hard. Okay.
I'm looking at you. All right. So if you were to be one of Amidala's handmaidens,
No.
too bad. That's the question. What would you change your name to be? I already have mine picked out. I would be Jase.
Jesse. Well, I mean, if you go with the formula, I would just be like Mege, but that's kind of stupid. I don't like it.
You could just be straight up like May or something.
Like Gane, maybe if I took the last half of my name, Megan.
You could.
Gane. That's kind of exotic.
How about you,
Yeah.
Ronald?
Yeah, I as they were picking out their names, I was trying to be like, well, what would my name be? And I first looked at it and I said, well, there's already an R, and that's Rabe. So I was like, but what would I change it to? Then I started thinking, well, maybe Rano, or but like
It'd
I was
have to
like,
be A.
yeah, it would have to be something. Yeah, so I was like, what could it be? Like,
What about like
and
Nale or something?
I'll take that. I'll take
Nale.
Nale, because I was really looking at the is it Arisitama? Is how you pronounce her name? I can't remember.
Oh, Reese's Pieces?
Flashback.
No, I'm just gonna call her Erie because just for short, because that's all I remember. But when Erie or Erie, however you want to pronounce it, like she was, I think, the one against like changing her name, right? Or she was uncomfortable with changing her name. And then so I said, oh yeah, I mean, that's cool how one of them was like, kind of against it, but then, if everybody was to do it, right, the consensus was everybody,
It's all or
has to be all
nothing.
in one page.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I'll do Nale for now, just to kind of be on her boat, and kind of like just I have to do it because everybody else is doing it. Kind of
Fine.
thing.
You go full
but-
pig Latin and be Arnold Ray.
You could. It's your handmaiden name. It's whatever you want it to be.
No, Nale's cool. I like that. I like the sound of it too. So yeah, let's go with that.
So would you say Megan Gane?
Yeah.
So Gane, Nale, and Jase. Hey.
I think we just used all our last names of our characters on that one.
I don't think they get last names.
No last names for them. All right, last one. Megan.
Uh-oh. Why? Why is it always me?
If you say cooking, I swear to God. Holy moons. I'm going to be so mad.
Cooking.
Okay, so what's a trait or skill that you have that you think the group should learn? Something that you, Megan,
like,
you, Ronald, have.
That I could bring to the table.
Yep.
That's tough because I feel like my strongest skills are already covered, represented there. So I'm very good at lying and acting and pretending and having a completely different face when dealing with difficult people than you do with your friends and that kind of thing. So the diplomaticness of it, and they've got that.
I mean, that would still count.
Yeah, I mean, so there's that, but I'm also a very organized. So like, I think the handmaiden I identify with the most would be Sabe, because she is like, I'm gonna make a schedule. I'm gonna keep track of everybody's skills, and we're gonna this is the setup, this is the arrangement, and just she kind of runs the show there and is everybody's assistant, and that is something I immediately jump into in every situation that I get myself into. I'm immediately like, how can I help? What are some jobs I can learn? And then the next thing I know, I'm in charge of everything. So that, like, they have handmaidens that do what I do. So I don't know. I know what I have that they don't.
It's okay if they have it, but more just what do you have? Because even if they have some diplomacy and some organization skills, they're not going to be exactly like yours. So you're going to be able to show them a different point of view, a different way to do things. So that's still really helpful.
Yeah, exactly. I think that would be my strongest thing to bring to the table, would just be, how to deal with these kind of situations, the faces to put on, the making up the voice, and in that the whole process they went through. Like, I would actually jump into that with both feet and be like, okay, I know what I'm doing. Let's go.
Okay, good question. I'm gonna go back a little bit. Now, remember when they first decided what their protocol is going to be outside of Captain Panaka's,
Mhm.
and they were, you know, going through different scenarios about how they were gonna, how they were gonna make decisions if one of them were to actually be the queen at the time, right? And then there was different I think it was signals or maybe like I think it was like certain words like whether to argue or not to argue at the time. So to answer your question, I think the the skill that I think that these handmaidens can have is to actually make that decision politically. I'm going to use that word. I don't really like to use that word, but I think that's the only word you can kind of like explain it at. Like they need to make the hard decision as the leader when Padme is not queen.
So
Um,
that's your skill that you're bringing to the table.
yes. So I think like that one, that's again, leadership skills. Like you have to sometimes make that decision when, and you got to know the decision of what. So it's kind of like you have to be on the same step ladder. Like you have to know what your highest leader is going to answer. You better answer the same way. You can sometimes you won't be able to do a head nod or and then you just you how would your leader answer, and then you answer the same way.
So just keeping people in sync.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're pretty good at that, so I could see you being able to teach them.
Yeah, and it's super important in this
Yeah.
situation. So yeah.
I think for me, when I was thinking about the question, kind of like what I said earlier, I'm really good with languages, and not necessarily that I can do voices, but I'm really good at listening to different accents,
Mhm.
pinpointing where they come from, speech and tones. I'm really good at that. So I feel like that's a skill that I could bring, and I could show them how to listen for the emotions, how to listen for the different like regions, the different places that they come from. That way, we could think like, oh, this person is from here, so let's think about, you know, this would be a no-no in their culture. Let's try to avoid like a political or insensitive like debacle, things like that. I really like cultures and learning, and so I feel like I could help them with that. So when it comes to talking
Reading
to
people and
reading people and
Yeah.
then talking to people from other planets, I feel like that would be a good skill to have.
yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I think and especially in a world like Star Wars, there is not just your dialect that our world knows, but of a bigger galaxy than that. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
translate this. You want to wanga.
That is why I would employ a protocol droid.
Well, not just for translation, but just to be able to pinpoint, like, okay, so they're most likely from here. How can we avoid,
Yeah, that's
How
called
can-
protocol. That's what they do.
oh my gosh, but
That
we
is their
have
specialty.
but we're not always going to have droids with us. So it's important, especially.
I'm the queen.
as-
I'm gonna have so many droids. I'm gonna have a droid and a backup
You're
droid.
a handmaiden. You're a handmaiden. Step back.
Well, I mean, just
So
was it
as
like
handmaidens,
I'm
that's
still
why,
stuck on the queen question.
so that's why, as a
I
handmaiden,
was
I'm like, how can I help teach the others and the queen if we're not going to have a droid? She's talking to someone from another planet. She can't be some rude jerk. She's
right.
going to have to like pay attention. So that's how I can teach her. I can help her.
Very good.
nice? I just like to go back on that. Didn't like Queen Amidala have like 4 R2 units in like her Naboo cruiser when they were trying to get the shields back up in episode
Yeah, you
1?
gotta have droids and backup droids all the time.
4, geez, 4.
Yeah, corners of the ship to be taken care of.
Oh, I take that back. Astromechs, sorry,
Yeah.
Astromechs. 4 Astromechs.
They did all look like R2 models, but didn't they? I don't remember now. Whatever. Queen's got
Definitely
droids.
right. And the most important ones that she had was R2 in there, so that counts.
Mm-hmm. Well, that
Hi,
was a
guys.
fun little exercise. I definitely would rather be queen than a handmaiden, though. So let's make sure that that's straight.
We're reading about the handmaiden, so you're a handmaiden right now. So tough.
Even the queen had to be a handmaiden a little bit.
Exactly.
That's
See?
true. That's true.
Yeah.
And I like, just to go back to it, I love how I think it was chapter 9 or 10 where we get the little snippets of the Jedi again, and now we get Tatooine as well, where it sets up Anakin and his mother and
Mhm.
Watto. So
You got to hear Kat doing Watto's voice, by the way.
Oh gosh.
I was like, what is happening? It's great. It's so good. Anyway, yeah, carry on.
but no, definitely. When I was reading it, I said, what skills or what did Padme had to bring once they were on Tatooine, and so it's something I'm gonna have to look back in episode 1, and or was there something that I have to really dig into
Hmm.
why she was chosen to be the one to go with Qui-Gon and not one of the other handmaidens.
Can I just make a side note? And when I was reading about Maul, I was like, you poor angry little man. I just want to give you a hug.
Nobody
Yeah.
has ever wanted to give Darth Maul a hug.
I think he just needs a hug and like a little pat on the back.
The universe would have been a much different place if that had worked.
I mean, he was just, where was he, in the anger phase already? So when I was reading that, I said, well, what leads to, oh no, was he already at hate? I don't think he was
So-
at hate yet.
Fear
He
leads to
said
anger.
that he said that anger was his fuel, but he's still working on his hatred. And I'm just like,
Oh, right. So
mood.
Anger
right,
leads
so
to hate.
and then hate leads to
Mhm.
suffering. So I was like, oh, that's still 2 steps before you're
You're
I
almost
guess
there.
you
Keep going.
cannot where you
You're
can't
so
turn back.
close.
But if you want to go more into it, just for his conversation's sake, like, what was his thing against the Jedi? And I wish there was a little bit more detail in why is it he's angry because he cannot be accepted by the Jedi, or
That's another
he had a
book.
he had a really big
So
grudge
it
against him.
pointed out that he was upset that the Jedi hadn't found him, but then so I don't remember where the heck I read this, but that supposedly the Jedi don't find all the force sensitive children. They're gonna miss a few, especially if they don't know how force sensitive they
see.
are. So I'm like, well,
What did you expect?
you dramatic ass how they're not gonna go after everyone, so they might not
It's
have
a big
found
galaxy.
you. Like, chill.
Right. Well,
Just
then they are lost.
I'm like, you just need a hug. You're just a
Aw.
little angry man. That's why I said I volunteer. I'll give him a hug and a little pat on the back, maybe a cookie, maybe it'll calm him
Save the
down.
world, Jazz. Save the world with your hugs.
Maybe you can communicate with him with one of your languages to kind
If
of
it
calm him
helps.
down a little bit.
Gonna say something be like, I can tell you're angry. You're not force sensitive. Yeah, but I can hear it because you're yelling at me. Let's work on that.
I mean, I know this is not part of it because they don't interact with Maul until the actual movie, but it makes you also think, like, what would these handmaidens be like, or what would their reaction be like to a Sith Lord in their presence? Because it seems like Padme was just very calm, or
I
I don't
feel
even
like
know. I mean, when Padme saw it, I don't know, or saw Maul,
I feel
she
like
just walked away.
The Maul that we're meeting in this book and that's in episode 1 is a very different Maul than from later on. So I feel like if they met Phantom Menace, pre-Phantom Menace, whatever Maul, they'd be like, oh, this dude's kind of scary. But then if they met like Clone Wars Maul, they're gonna be like, who is this drama queen and why won't he shut up?
Right. I know, it's like reading him in this book, he's a little bit more, he knows where he's at. I guess a lot of that has to do with the conclusion of episode 1 and his meeting Obi-Wan. But prior to that, it seemed like he was supposed to be the Palpatine, excuse me, the Emperor's star pupil kind of thing. Like,
Mhm.
if they hold Obi-Wan in the Jedi in a very high place, like, I think Maul was supposed to be that until he was defeated.
I mean, he seems a lot more sure of himself and more confident, even though he's still working on his hatred.
Right. 4 steps to becoming a Sith.
To be young and confident.
Not in my
and hate
Not in
gold.
my forte. He's on my shirt though. Darth Maul.
Yeah, you're representing.
Nice.
He's there.
He is a part of this.
Yeah, I like looking back at those again. The characters that we get little snippets of seeing them in this book, and they're not too. It's not too long of scenes, but it gives us an idea of what the other side of the galaxy looks like.
Yes, it does.
All right, somebody gonna close us out because
Well,
Did
thanks
you want
for
to?
joining. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining with us. Next week, we will be reading chapters 11 through 15. So can't wait to see you. If you have any other questions or want to answer the questions that we discussed, post them in the comments. Find us on Tumblr, Instagram, Facebook. We'd love to keep the conversation going with you guys.
Yeah, handmaidens assemble. Let's form a team and take over the universe.
Oh, we need a hashtag. Hashtag, what would your Padme handmaiden name be?
Oh my gosh, it's
Post
too
it.
long.
that's a long
A long hashtag.
Hashtag handmaiden name.
hashtag
handmaidens
royal
assemble. I'm
skills.
done.
Handmaidens assemble.
I don't know. We're forming a team. Come on, guys. So yeah, that was it. That's handmaidens, that's queens, that's sexy Wookiees, and that is this week's episode of the book club. Thank you for joining us. See you all next week.
Sexy
Sexy
Wookiees.
Wookiees.